Hey, what's happening YouTube? Assalamu alaikum. This is Oni Art and Resident Evil 2 Remake is gonna be awesome. We all know that. As we get to see more and more of the game while the days slowly go dwindling down until the release, our minds start to think up stuff about what will be in the game and what surprises will we get. So just in that thought process, I got a theory. More like a hope, but basically just wondering, wouldn't it be like the coolest thing ever if we saw Jill Valentine in the upcoming Resident Evil 2 remake? Now, I know you're all gonna rap on about Jill deserving to be in a Resident Evil 3 remake, and I also really want that. And then there are gonna be those of you who are just gonna say that
Jill wasn't in Resident Evil 2, the original one.
And of course, what's not to agree about that? But you know what? Jill Valentine may not have been in Resident Evil 2, but she was in Raccoon City. So let's just take a gander to the past and take a brief look at the Resident Evil timeline concerning the second and the third game in the series. So we all know that Leon and Claire both arrived in Raccoon City on the 29th of September 1998 and successfully escaped the zombie-infested ghost town in the early hours of 30th September 1998. And similarly, I'm sure we all know that in Resident Evil 3, Jill begins her final escape from Raccoon City on the 28th of September 1998, one day before Leon and Claire arrives, and finally escapes Raccoon City just before the bombs fall on 1st October, making Resident Evil 3 both a prequel and a sequel to Resident Evil 2, in a sense. Now, those up on the Resident Evil lore would say that Jill can't appear in Resident Evil 2 because during the events of the night of 28th September, Jill was infected by the T-virus. Yeah, that happened. And lost consciousness for 2 days. Really convenient. In these 2 days, the events of Resident Evil 2 took place, and on 1st October, well after Leon and Claire had gone their ways, Jill came out of her temporary coma state and continued her escape from Raccoon City. So what, you might ask, am I basing this hope on seeing Jill Valentine in the remake? Well, the remake itself. Now from what we have seen so far, it is quite evident that the remake may be true to the original plot in the broader sense, but individual events in the remake are playing out quite differently. You look at Marvin and now Ada and even Chief Iron, and it's obvious some things have been added to their scenarios and slightly retconned, I would say. Now don't get me wrong, I am not saying that Jill should straight up meet with Claire or Leon in a full-on dialogue encounter. That would be stupid. But I'm talking more in the lines of existence in the background. Like you are doing your own thing in a game, but then either a small cutscene or just general animations play out of another character way off in the background at some other area doing something. Seriously, how cool it would be like you are somewhere on a roof or in a part of the city and way off in the distance you see a girl in a blue shirt and high boots fighting off zombies and then running off out of your field of view. Now you might say that if Jill is being shown, then Nemesis will definitely have to make an appearance, and that would be quite a waste to see just a glimpse of him. I have only one answer for you. Why? Okay, that's not an answer, that's a question, but you get my point. Why? Why does Nemesis have to make an appearance? Nemesis wasn't around all the time in Resident Evil 3, so just don't show him. Simple. Now I know every hope and theory has its downsides, and the only concern that I would have of this is that it may potentially mess up a pretty sweet Jill Valentine surprise cameo, if there is one at the end, if we see her in the game. Yes, I am really also hoping that Capcom goes the extra step and adds an MCU type Jill Valentine cameo at the very end of the game, though that would only happen if they are planning a Resident Evil 3 remake, but man, that would be the best thing ever. Okay, so in hindsight, having a Jill cameo may end up being quite anticlimactic. But you know what? There is one other character that they can show with more depth and even dialogues, and that character is good old Brad Chickenheart Vickers. Now I know that Brad Vickers was also killed by Nemesis on the 28th of September, but he is the guy we actually come across in Resident Evil 2. Albeit in his zombie form, where he is a tough SOB to take down. Now this encounter actually shows an overlap between the events that took place on the 28th in Resident Evil 3 with the events of Resident Evil 2. Now just like Marvin, Ada and the above mentioned scenario for Jill, Capcom can retcon Brad Vickers slightly, and in my opinion that will not mess up the story in the slightest but add more depth to it, especially for Claire. Now hear me out. I would guess that Claire would know of her brother's colleagues / friends. I mean, he is a police officer and anything can happen in that job, and she is like his only family, so she will be his emergency call person, I would say. And then it would make sense that Claire would be aware of Wesker, Brad, the other guys, and even maybe Jill. She seems to be pretty close with Barry already, so yeah. Now imagine, just picture this. What a great scene it would be for Claire to come across a turning Brad Vickers. Just retcon it that it took a while for him to turn instead of instant zombification. And then he can be a really hard zombie boss fight. Of course, this has to be after Claire discovers that Chris is no longer in Raccoon City, otherwise the whole plot will be messed up. But think about it, how great the dialogues and scenario would be if Claire came across one of her brother's old friends that she also knew in better days, sitting there just dying. Heck, this can even take place before Claire finds out that Chris is not here, and it can add to her overall plot anxiety as she desperately hopes that the same fate has not befallen her brother. This can be an emotional moment for Claire, resulting in character development time, and in my opinion would make an awesome and really heart-wrenching moment overall. But that's just me. I love these small details that are found in games, and I think that Brad Vickers' cameo and a boss fight is not only the better of the two cameo ideas that I just gave, but can also be implemented quite easily without ruining the plot. Like, the guy is already dead, like he doesn't move the plot forward or anything, so yeah, just add him. Anyway, that's it for today, people. Tell me what you all think. Would you like to see a cameo by a Resident Evil 3 character, and if you do, would you rather have Jill make a cameo or Brad make a cameo as a zombie boss fight? Comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more awesome stuff, and shoot that bell icon to turn on notifications to get updates and theories straight out of Raccoon City Police Department. I have been Onyard. Thank you very much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay cool, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.